There are unseen forces moving around us every single day. Some come to strengthen us, others come to break us. The truth is, whether you believe in witchcraft or not, you cannot deny that negativity, envy, and destructive energy exist. They enter homes, they enter hearts, and they enter lives, silently. But just as darkness fears the light, evil fears purity. And today, I want to show you why every woman must learn to burn these sacred mixtures, not as superstition, but as a shield, as a declaration that your spirit cannot be broken. When you look at the simple act of burning incense, it may appear to be nothing more than a stick of fragrance, smoke rising, and air shifting slightly around you. But behind that simplicity lies a deeper truth. It is not the incense alone that carries the power. It is the mind and the intention placed into it. Fire is neutral, smoke is neutral, herbs are neutral. What transforms them into something extraordinary is the clarity of purpose that you, yourself, bring into that moment. Without intention, incense is just aroma. With intention, incense becomes a tool of protection, a declaration of strength, and a bridge between your inner state and the outer world. The mind is the strongest amplifier of energy. Every great creation, every powerful invention, every transformation in the world has always started as a thought. That thought, when directed and repeated with discipline, shapes the reality we experience. Incense burning is no different. When you light that flame, you are in truth igniting the flame of your own awareness. You are saying, this is the moment I focus. This is the moment I decide what energy I want to carry and what energy I want to remove. That act alone changes everything. Too often, people move through rituals mechanically, without ever pausing to ask themselves what they truly seek from it. But the difference between superstition and empowerment lies in consciousness. If you burn incense because someone told you it works, you may feel nothing. If you burn it while carrying the clear intention that it will remove negativity from your home, shield your family, or free your heart from heaviness, then suddenly the smoke becomes alive. It no longer drifts aimlessly. It follows your command. This is the same principle that governs life itself. What you focus on expands, what you direct becomes reality. When you stand before that burning mixture, see it as more than fragrance. See it as a physical representation of your will. Every wisp of smoke rising upward is your intention breaking free from the invisible prison of doubt, fear, or darkness. The energy you infuse into it sets the tone of the space around you. That is why people across centuries and cultures have used incense, not because the herbs themselves are magical, but because they understood the human mind is capable of shaping matter, and rituals serve as channels for that shaping. So when a woman lights incense with the purpose of protection, she is not simply warding off evil. She is commanding her own reality. She is standing in the knowledge that her spirit has authority, that her thoughts carry power, and that her intention is enough to bend the unseen forces in her favor. There is something profoundly unique about the energy a woman carries. It is the force of creation, the ability to nurture, and the resilience to endure. When you really think about it, life itself flows through women. They bring existence into the world, they sustain it, and they protect it. This natural ability is not just physical, it is spiritual. And because of this, women carry a shield within them, one that evil forces instinctively fear. That is why rituals of incense burning resonate so deeply with women, because the smoke becomes an extension of the energy they already hold. If you observe closely, negativity often tries to attach itself to what is most powerful. Jealousy targets those who shine, curses aim for those who carry blessings, and dark intentions follow those who radiate light. Women embody that light in a very real way. They are wired with an inner sensitivity, a kind of spiritual radar that detects when something is wrong. That intuition, that ability to sense danger without words, is already proof that they have a natural defense system against forces that are unseen. And when incense is lit with awareness, it becomes a magnifier of that defense. The mixture of herbs is important, yes, but more important is the presence of the woman herself. She is the anchor. The herbs may cleanse the atmosphere, but it is her energy that gives them direction. It is her intention, her willpower, her authority that instructs the smoke to guard, to repel, to remove. Think of it this way: fire without oxygen dies. In the same way, incense without intention has no force. The woman provides the breath, the fuel, the command that gives incense its strength. What makes this so powerful is that many women are unaware of just how much natural protection they already carry. They underestimate their presence, their influence, their ability to shift energy in a room simply by being there. Evil forces thrive on fear and weakness, but they crumble in the face of confidence and certainty. When a woman embraces incense as a sacred tool, she is not just burning herbs, she is declaring that her space, her family, and her own soul are under her guardianship. This act awakens the shield that was already inside her. When she walks into a room where negativity lingers and she lights that mixture, she doesn't just clear the air. She asserts dominance over what was trying to dominate her. She turns the unseen into something she can command. And in doing so, she transforms her natural sensitivity into unshakable strength. The incense is no longer a ritual. It is an extension of who she is. And when that realization takes root, she no longer doubts, she no longer fears. She understands that her very existence is already protection, and with every flame she lights, she declares with certainty, I was born to be untouchable. When we talk about cleansing, most people immediately think about the body. They think about showers, clean clothes, fresh food. But the truth is, what weighs us down the most is rarely visible. It is the heaviness that clings to our energy, the residue of conversations that left us drained, the atmosphere of places that carried hidden tension, the invisible fragments of anger, envy, and fear that seem to linger long after the moment has passed. Just like dust collects in corners of a room, negativity collects in the corners of our lives. And this is where incense becomes a powerful ally. Smoke has always been seen as a bridge between the physical and the spiritual. It rises, it moves, it shifts, almost like it carries with it the unseen burdens we cannot touch with our hands. When incense burns, it is not just scent filling the air. It is purification taking place on a level that goes beyond the surface. Think about how you feel when you walk into a place that just feels heavy. Nothing is said, nothing is seen, yet you know something is not right. That is the weight of energy left behind, and incense clears it away. But it goes deeper than the space around you. It also cleanses the space within you, because what we carry internally is often far heavier than what surrounds us. Regret, resentment, unspoken pain, old memories that keep replaying. These are like shadows we walk with. And the longer we carry them, the more they shape how we see the world. Burning incense with intention is like opening the windows of your soul and letting the stale air leave. Every curl of smoke reminds you that what was stuck does not have to stay. It gives you permission to release. There is also something deeply grounding about the act itself. When you take the time to pause, light the mixture, and watch the smoke rise, you are reminding yourself to slow down. In a world where everything moves at relentless speed, that pause becomes sacred. The cleansing doesn't just happen in the room, it happens in your mind. Suddenly you are not scattered. You are centered. You are present. And from that presence, your energy shifts. You stop absorbing everything around you and start radiating instead. That is the real essence of incense cleansing. It is not only about removing what is dark, but also about restoring what is light. It brings harmony back into a space and peace back into a person. And when you feel that peace, you realize something important. Protection is not only about building walls against the world, it is about keeping your own spirit free of the weight that tries to bury it. There are moments in life when we find ourselves struggling with problems that feel unfamiliar, almost as if they do not belong to us. You work hard, you do what is right, yet obstacles keep reappearing in cycles. Opportunities slip away just when you reach out for them. Relationships break down for no clear reason. And a heaviness follows you even when your intentions are pure. This is because not every battle you face began with you. Some struggles are inherited, passed down through family lines like unseen chains that bind generation after generation. They are patterns born out of pain, curses spoken in anger, or unresolved wounds that linger long after those who created them are gone. When we talk about incense, many people think only about fragrance. But incense has long been used as a tool to cut through those invisible chains. It is not about smoke filling the room. It is about intention rising higher than the weight of what has been carried for years. When the mixture is lit, it symbolizes the breaking of ties to what is no longer yours to hold. You do not burn it simply to cleanse the air, you burn it to cleanse the story, to rewrite the narrative of your life. Imagine for a moment a thread stretching back through generations. On it are the fears of your ancestors, the bitterness they carried, the betrayals they endured. Without realizing it, pieces of those threads can be passed forward, woven into your present. You find yourself reacting to situations not just with your own emotions, but with the echoes of theirs. Incense becomes the flame that burns those threads one by one, until only your own true path remains. This is why rituals of cleansing are so powerful. They are not superstition, they are declarations of independence. When you light that incense, you are saying, I honor the past, but I will not be bound by it. I respect where I came from, but I choose a different future. The rising smoke carries away the heaviness of inherited pain and replaces it with clarity, with strength, with freedom. And what is remarkable is that once you break those chains, you do not just free yourself, you free those who come after you, the children, the generations yet to be born. They will not have to carry what you have carried. You become the one who stops the cycle. That is why the act is sacred. It is not just for you. It is for everyone connected to you, past and future. So when a woman lights incense with the intention to break ancestral curses, she is not only protecting her home in that moment, she is rewriting the destiny of her bloodline. And in that fire, in that smoke, in that unshakable decision, she declares the chains end with me. Every day, whether we are aware of it or not, we are exposed to energies that are not our own. A casual conversation with someone who carries envy, a glance from someone who resents your success, or even silent negativity in a crowded space. All of these things leave subtle imprints on the mind and body. You may not see them, but you feel them. That sudden exhaustion after meeting someone, the restless sleep that follows a day filled with conflict, the heaviness you can't explain. These are signs that your spirit has absorbed something that does not belong to you. And just as we would not walk into a storm without shelter, we should not walk into life without spiritual armor. This is where the burning of incense mixtures takes on a deeper role. It is not only about cleansing what has already entered your space, but about strengthening your defense before the attack even comes. Every flame you light, every smoke that rises becomes a shield. It is like putting on an invisible layer of protection that surrounds you, deflecting the subtle arrows of negativity before they reach your core. What makes this shield so effective is not only the herbs themselves, but the awareness with which they are used. A warrior who wears armor without knowing how to fight is still vulnerable. But a woman who burns incense with intention understands she is commanding the unseen forces around her. She is not waiting to be attacked before she acts. She is preparing, fortifying, and ensuring that no darkness can penetrate her light. Think about how easily the mind is influenced. One unkind word can replay for hours, even days. One act of betrayal can sit in the heart like a thorn for years. But when incense is burned regularly, it builds resilience. The mind becomes less porous, less absorbent of what is harmful. The spirit grows stronger, less shaken by whispers of envy or shadows of fear. In time, this practice doesn't just create a shield, it creates unshakable confidence. The real strength lies in consistency. Just as you would not wear armor only once and expect to be protected forever, you cannot burn incense one time and expect lifelong safety. Protection is maintained through practice, through ritual, through commitment. And with each time the smoke rises, your shield grows thicker, your energy grows clearer, and your presence becomes more commanding. People feel it when they are near you. Darkness feels it too. This is why women who embrace this practice become untouchable. They no longer walk through life vulnerable to every attack, every whisper, every unseen force. Instead, they move with quiet strength, with assurance, with a shield that is not visible but undeniable. And so, with every mixture burned, with every intention set, a woman declares not only her strength but her sovereignty, sending a message into the unseen: you may try, but you will not enter here. Fear is one of the strongest weapons darkness uses. It doesn't need to touch you directly. It only needs to convince you that you are weak, that you are exposed, that you are vulnerable. Once fear takes hold, it begins to control the mind, and when the mind is controlled, the body follows. People begin to live in hesitation, in doubt, in constant anticipation of something going wrong. This is how negativity gains power, not because it is stronger than you, but because it convinces you that you are powerless. The act of burning incense breaks this cycle. It is not just a ritual for cleansing, it is a reminder of who you are and what you carry within. When the mixture is lit and the smoke begins to rise, there is a shift that takes place, not only in the atmosphere but also in your state of mind. Suddenly, what was once fear becomes focus. The space that felt heavy begins to feel lighter, and within you, a sense of authority starts to awaken. You begin to understand that the ritual is not about superstition. It is about training the mind to remember its strength. Each time you perform this act, you are retraining your thoughts. You are teaching yourself that you are not someone who runs from shadows. You are someone who commands them. Fear loses its grip when you act with certainty, and incense becomes the anchor that keeps you steady in that certainty. You no longer see the ritual as a reaction to darkness, but as a proclamation of light. That is the true transformation, when fear no longer dictates your choices, but strength does. And what happens next is profound. The very energy that once paralyzed you becomes fuel. What once made you tremble becomes what makes you stand taller. Because fear, when redirected, can become power. It can sharpen your awareness, it can intensify your intention, it can remind you of how much strength you actually carry. The incense becomes the turning point, the symbol that fear has no control here. Women who embrace this practice begin to notice the difference. They stop shrinking in the presence of negativity, they stop hesitating in the face of envy, and they stop doubting when they feel unseen forces pressing against them. Instead, they meet it all with a calm fire, a certainty that no matter what comes, they are equipped, they are ready, they are unshackable. The smoke doesn't just cleanse, it declares. It declares that fear will not define you, that weakness will not chain you, that darkness will not claim you. And so, with every flame that is lit and every mixture that burns, fear is transformed into power, vulnerability into resilience, and silence into strength. And in that moment, the woman stands not as someone waiting to be attacked, but as someone who has already won.